A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand. Hello and welcome to Tinpot, a Scottish football podcast. This is episode 15. It's Monday the 8th of September at 21:37 to be precise. The full-time whistle has just gone in Hungary as Scotland have beaten Belarus 2-0. I'm your host for the next 40 minutes or so. My name's Tom, joined by Andrew and Matthew. And yeah, today's episode is just going to be quite simply a review of Friday night's game away in Copenhagen, and then a review of tonight's match as well, just to see what we're all thinking about Steve Clarke and Scotland's chances of qualifying for next year's World Cup are after those two performances. We'll start, I think, with Friday night. We'll work in chronological order and discuss that match. On paper, a 0-0 draw could be seen as boring, but what a game it was, in my opinion. Was resolute from Steve Clarke's men against the top seed. The first time we've taken points off a top seed in a qualifier away from home since 2013. I think there was a lot of question marks. Oh, sorry, Matthew.
Against
who? A lot. Oh, against who? It was Croatia, 2-0.
Correct.
Gogs Strachan. But by that stage we were out. It was long gone.
Who scored?
Oh, good question. You've put me on the spot and I do not know.
Scott Brown got one, did he not? I'm sure he scored. I'm sure Scott Brown scored. I don't know.
Chris Wilimo, didn't he?
Maybe.
Stevie Crawford.
Stevie Clarke.
If only.
Yeah, the main headlines pre-kickoff were the lineup, weren't they? I think even the most staunch Steve Clarke fans were a bit bamboozled by the selection. Seemed to be a 4-4-2. The omission of Ben Doak and Billy Gilmore were raising the most eyebrows. The inclusion of Lyndon Dykes and Grant Hanley as well were frustrating a lot of fans pre-match, but as Steve Clarke often does, he proves us wrong and gets the result. Matthew, you obviously watched the game. I
did.
Know you saw every kick of every ball. And
yep, I was with you, mate. It was great.
Yeah, talk us through your thoughts.
I think Steve listens to the podcast after hearing your cry for 4-4-2, and he says, "Oh, if Tam says it, so it will be." Yeah, I think we're all surprised by the inclusion of. Well, I said Dykes would play, so I'm right.
Yeah, you did.
Front,
yeah.
I mean, it really worked well. I think having that one up front, games like that can sometimes isolate the lone striker, and you never get the ball. I thought the two of them did okay. They won a lot of headers. Dykes, just a warrior for Scotland. He always plays well for us. So, overall, Steve Clarke is just like fucking shoving it to the naysayers who say nay no more. Steve is the man. Trust in Steve. He knows what he knows, and he plans these things months in advance. And he's got these team of analysts that study all the games. He probably does the same. And some idiot on Facebook or whatever saying, "Oh, look at this guy. You joking me? This man, like." I think he just turns up like the day before and like, "Oh, I might just play this guy. Oh, maybe I'll play this formation." No, he's fucking planned this in advance. The game plan worked. We could have won. Maybe we gave them too much respect. I don't know. Could we have taken the game to them more, do you think?
I think, yeah, in hindsight, you definitely could. But the thing is, the first 10 minutes were under the cosh. It was an awful, awful start to the game. And you're thinking, here we go. Backs to the wall, could be any number. We couldn't get out our own half. We're getting the ball in our own third and just hoofing it, missing simple passes, and looked really quite scared. But then after that first 10 minutes, I thought the rest of that first half was fairly eeksy-peeksy. They didn't really threaten us too much in that first half. It was actually I think everyone was quite surprised by how little attacking threat they did have. And you can tell they've gone in at half-time and had that message. The game's there for us. The next 15 minutes were, I thought, our best spell in the game. And then as legs tire, you take off players like Aaron Hickey, who was has clearly been a massive miss. Just when you watch that first hour against Denmark, you take off him, and the game at that point, when it gets to 70 odd minutes, is you do sort of accept the point, and I think you withdraw a wee bit more, which I don't blame them for. The only thing that you could maybe say about those subs is that the rest of the subs that happened could have maybe come on a wee bit earlier.
Yeah.
But key performances for you, Andrew, from that game on Friday. Who was the sort of standout players in your opinion?
Well, I thought Hickey was superb. Especially coming back from an injury. Some of the pace he showed, just the chasing down, the pressing, the making every effort to get to a ball sort of played down that channel. I thought he was superb, to be honest. So he would have been my man of the match, just because I was a little unsure of how long he was going to last. He lasted a lot longer than I thought, and he gave full energy right until the very, very end. So for me, he was man of the match. I thought overall in the game, I thought we were probably a bit fortunate at times. There were certain times where if they were a little bit more clinical up front in terms of that sort of final delivery, we really could have been sort of put to the sword. But that's, their top seed. And to be honest, I mean, Steve Clarke got it absolutely bang on with his tactics. When I saw the 4-4-2, I thought this is a disaster. Seeing Hanley at the back as well, I thought he put in a superb performance. And I really wouldn't have been the only one that seeing that team sheet was thinking, oh shit, that's a real big risk. But no, superb performance. There wasn't really anyone there that I thought had a bad game. Obviously the contentious sort of handball last man situation, I don't really know how I feel too much about that, but he didn't really shower himself in glory, and maybe didn't really so much today either. But yeah, for me, Hickey just coming back from such a long injury, slotting straight in, making such a huge impact. He was my man of the match.
Yeah, when you've had 2 or 3 years with Ralston being your right back, you almost get used to seeing him playing in a Scotland shirt and accepting that is the standard of a right back for Scotland. And then you see Aaron Hickey come back in, and it's night and day. He's unbelievable. And as much as I'm happy to see Max Johnson in the squad and want to see him get more minutes, so long as he's playing for his club, I'm all happy to see that. Again, it was night and day between Johnston tonight against Belarus, and it was Hickey on Friday night. And yeah, you're right. You're saying that Denmark could have been more potent in front of goal, but huge credit has to go to the centre back pair and Suter, but especially Hanley, is clear and everything, intercepting a lot, and also to do with the tactical setup from those set pieces and those crosses coming in. Our line was resolute. We're stepping up at the right time, playing that offside trap. There are 2 or 3 chances that were offside, and that's very brave to do, especially away from home. So,
absolutely, I think the three
offensively were great.
Hanley, Suter, and Gunn. They seem to communicate really well. They're 3 leaders, and there was not really any points in the game that you felt they were disorganised or weren't really clicking. They knew their job. It was a very experienced back line. Obviously, Hickey is the most inexperienced, but he's just got that absolute class. But you've got Robbo at the back, and you've got those 2 centre back. You've got Gunn there, who you've got to remember, prior to that game, a lot of question marks were being asked of Gunn. Whether he could actually perform and be sharp enough. He was absolutely on the money for the whole game, I thought. So, and same again tonight, just real steady hands.
Yeah, it's about time he got a win. I was reading today that he was 12 games without a win for Scotland. Right. And it was a joint record. So, yeah, glad to see that he got the 3 points tonight to break that duck. Yeah. But, yeah, going back to what you mentioned about the 4-4-2 and the inclusion of Dykes, but in a front 2 with Adams. Given the fact that he's not been playing a great deal of club football, and the level he is playing at is is pretty poor compared to the rest of the squad. He slotted right back in, and I think it goes to show how much of a miss he was in the Euros last year. When he was ruled out injured, I think he's got a lot of he doesn't have many fans in this, like in the, I don't want to say in the Scotland fan base because loads of people love him. He's a bit of an icon, but a lot of people weren't seeing him as a big miss. They were seeing Hickey obviously as a bigger miss than Ferguson and players like that. But Dykes' ability to take defenders a certain way, to win the ball in the air, to hold play up, to link the play, he's brilliant. And a lot of people understandably calling for Bowie to come in instead, which I can understand. He's a young player. He's has a good start to the season, but you have to trust someone like Dykes. He knows what Clarke needs from him, and he's not going to get let the pressure get to him. So I was really happy with that performance. Hopefully, it puts a lot of the doubters to bed.
Yeah, I think so. I think with Dykes particularly, it was. I mean, everyone bases it on club form, and that's why the whole Bowie thing makes sense. But the fact of the matter is, like, Lyndon Dykes is at his absolute best when he's playing under Steve Clarke. It doesn't matter where he's been, he fits Clarke's style of football perfectly. And, he's put his best performances, in my opinion, of his career in a Scotland shirt. So, despite falling out of favour, despite, moving to, clubs that, are a little bit sort of lesser than where he's been previously. Obviously I know he was looking to get to Hibs, and I don't know how much first team football he's going to get this season now that that's fallen through. He slotted in really well. He gave a lot of energy. He disrupted. He caused the defence no end of problems, and he really was making every effort to try and link up with whether it was Adams or the midfielders on his shoulder. So he's still a huge asset for Scotland. So it's going to be really hard for Kieran Bowie to get in there.
Yeah, Bowie's time will come. I think. Yeah, you'll learn a lot from Dykes, watching him, being with him, training on how to play, and then obviously Clarke will leave, and then who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, Dykes is just that battering ram that you need. The big strikers fucking cool now. Everyone wants a big man up front to just batter folk and give the tidier players a chance to actually get the ball. So yeah, you're right. I think Dykes, he was a big miss. He was part of the way we play, and then you have to sort of change it slightly when Adams is his lone striker, and it's a tough job being that striker for Scotland in these games. You need a bit.
Speaking of big miss and Dykes in the same sentence, you just said those words. He did have a huge chance, and he said that he thought he had more time, I think, in an interview afterwards. As a striker, that's what I'm thinking. As if you're Matt Sharp, if he's been playing week in, week out, and he's got confidence, he hits that first time or takes a touch, then goes. That was his biggest chance of the game.
Onto his right foot, back across the defender, but he sort of let it go past him. And surely there's a man behind you. Like if you're running, like guys that close to you,
you must do it. I don't understand that.
Just rustiness, I think.
Yeah, his touch just was a bit off, but.
That's the thing. He's never going to come out and say, "Oh, I'm just rusty. I've not played enough," so he has to make up some sort of excuse. But yeah, that was a big chance for him. There was a chance before that where we got a fantastic ball in from John McGinn right over to the back post. Ryan Christie's been the one to meet the header. Of all the forwards, he's the last player you probably want a header to fall to. He's not used to those types of chances. If that is on the head of Dykes or a Bowie, for example, you'd like to think you've got much more chance, or McTominay, much higher chance of that going in.
He had a couple of opportunities quite close to each other. One at the edge of the box and then that header. But I thought Christie's application was really good. Wasn't really overly excited to see him in the lineup, if I have to be honest. Made the point that I think he's been more of a kind of super sub for us. Over recent games. But no, he did great. He chased everything down. He ran in behind a couple of times. He was on the money, but it was just a real shame that those two opportunities he just couldn't quite take.
I was gonna say at the start of this, we don't want to go through every single player of the 11, but I feel like we're almost doing that because I was going to bring up one more person after you'd mentioned Christie, which was John McGinn. And I've been a fairly harsh critic of John McGinn in a Scotland shirt for the last 24 months. I don't think he's been played in his best position, and I don't think when he has been playing, he's been anywhere near the level that he was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But I thought in the second half, especially against Denmark, he was unbelievable. He was so aggressive. He got in between ball and man countless times. Really, really neat touches as well near the box, getting a few good deliveries in. And again, we'll come on to tonight. I thought he was equally as good in those wide positions tonight. So, yeah, all credit to Super John McGinn.
Yeah, definitely. He was kind of back to his old self.
Yeah, getting his arse stuck in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Doing what he does best.
When he thrives, is when he's fucking getting his arse in there. Yeah, he's class, mate. He struggled a bit. Villa have also struggled at the beginning of the season. We're questioning his engine, but he's still got it. He's a machine.
Yeah.
Love him. He needs to score a goal again, though. Where are the goals, John? Come on.
Yeah, I thought tonight would have been his chance, but
didn't really get
that's the thing when you're playing in those wide positions. You're not really. McTominay's kind of taken over the role that he used to play for Scotland. He used to be the guy on the edge of the box, the attacking mid that would arrive and meet crosses or or just find some tap-ins as well. But yeah, McTominay's taken over that role. Any negatives that you saw from Friday? I mean, obviously a 0-0 draw. We would all have taken it before kick-off. We're all happy now with the point, but is there anything that you weren't happy with on Friday night?
I think it was just really, for me, it was just Max Johnson, really. I just think he was a bit out of his depth, but I kind of felt sorry for him a wee bit. I don't really know why, but I just, obviously thought it was a good opportunity for him to bounce back tonight. Didn't really happen. So for me, he looks like a fairly unreliable source at right back. And I think maybe Clarke might need to consider a bit of an experiment there.
Is Patterson still at Everton, Andrew? Is he still... Is he on the bench at Everton?
I believe he was on his way to Sevilla in the window, but I think the deal fell through, so I think he is still at Everton.
Okay.
Surely it was a loan move.
There.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I like Patterson, not just because he's an ex-Rangers player, but I do think that when he gets a good run of games, he's a decent footballer. He's been decent for Everton as well. When he's had a good run, he's just been really unlucky with injuries, but. Johnson doesn't really feel like a natural right back, and it feels that if we are playing Greece, he would be an easy target. If he was on at any point, whether he came on as a sub or whether Hickey had picked up another injury or something and he had to fill in. I think he just looks like a bit of a bomb scare. So that's my only negative. But I thought everyone else was, applying a really good effort. Yeah, I do think we got fortunate at times, but we were really well organised. I thought actually Lewis Ferguson, was a bit of an unsung hero across the two games. Some of his deliveries were really good. He did the sort of simple stuff well, and mopped up nicely. So. It was nice to see him get a chance and then taking that chance and not making any absolute howlers. So I think all round pretty good and happy with the point as well.
Yeah, I thought we could have kept the ball better, especially in that first 20 minutes or maybe the first half. A lot of sloppy. Yeah. Adams was guilty of giving the ball away easily when he was with his back to the play. I mean, the players we've got, we should be comfortable on the ball, but we were a bit nervous.
I think though, Matthew, like it's a formation that we've not really played, 4-4-2. So to only have a shit sort of 15-20 minutes, is actually not bad. Is how I would kind of look at it. But you can't deny that that was a bit scary, and it was very sloppy. But if it had been a tried and tested formation, I think that would have been. I would have been a little bit more critical of it.
If it was a more lethal team, it might have punished you, but it wasn't like we were really peppering us. would have been nice to have been less nervous in those opening 20 minutes, but we certainly weathered the storm, or whatever it was. Can you call it a storm? Maybe like a light rainfall. I don't know. It wasn't. It wasn't really like we were having to last ditch tackles, saves from gun. They were pretty toothless. I just saw the goals they scored tonight. A couple of like edge of the box slow finishes, so we didn't let them get any of those, which was great. We were throwing our bodies on the line and blocking shots from everywhere.
We've been guilty of conceding too many goals from that area of the pitch, to be honest. Happened against Greece at Hampden. Too much space between the defence and the midfield at the edge of the box. But I think that nervousness in that first 10 minutes, I could be wrong, but I think it might come from Clarke and the team putting so much pressure on that first game. Like we said it on Thursday, recording the last week's episode. It's the last chance for a lot of these players to get to a World Cup, and I'm actually quite happy seeing how much it meant to them and seeing how nervous. And obviously, we wouldn't have said this if we'd lost a goal in that opening 10 minutes, but seeing how nervous they can be and seeing how much it can mean to them, there are some positives to maybe take from that if you're trying to be blindly optimistic, as I always am with Scotland. But I would agree.
I think
there was an opportunity after that when we did have our foot on the ball, Matthew, to control the game a wee bit more.
And that's the thing with Hickey, though. I was talking about Hickey earlier. He helps that because a few times a different right back might have played the ball blindly down the line just to get rid of it, but Hickey, a couple of times in that first half, played the ball inside. We kept the ball nicely, had a few triangles, and then passed back to the goalie, who then booted it, which was one of my pet peeves. But we just having an extra player on the pitch like Hickey, who is comfortable in the ball, is clearly beneficial to the team. Please don't get injured anymore, Aaron. Please, come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think in terms of trying to solve that right back issue, it's just about keeping Hickey and Patterson injury free. If you can, Hickey's your first choice, and you've got a fantastic sub on the bench with Patterson if they both stay injury free. I don't think, this is the most any of us have probably seen of Max Johnson play. None of us really are watching Sturm Graz last year or have seen the Derby County games so far this year.
No,
oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll read those reports later on his performances.
Yeah, the good thing is, Tom, we're playing these games in September, October, November. Surely you can stay fit for bloody 3 months. Come on, you're not waiting like 2 years for the qualifying campaign to be finished. It's boom, boom, boom. The squad should be together and fit.
I think the commentary we're saying about Aaron Hickey's injury, I think his recovery there's been a lot more invested in his recovery. They've not rushed him back. They've been looking at it a little bit more long term, and it seems to be a bit more commonplace in football, especially in the top leagues, that they take that extra care, so they're not getting, effectively it's an investment for them. So if they've got a player that's repeatedly picking up injuries, the sell on for him is difficult. He's more likely, higher risk to run out of contract. So the way that the injuries are handled now are certainly a lot more efficient, but it means that it takes a bit longer for the player to come back. But I hope they're right there, because what a heck of a player he is. And could he play at the very, very top? Could he play in a massive European giant?
Absolutely.
I feel so, yeah.
Man City were looking at him for a period. Pep was looking for someone like a right back that can play football. He's looking for someone that's versatile. Like, obviously you've said before, he can play left back as well. But first and foremost, Aaron Hickey is a footballer. He's not just a right back. And the point I was making there about Max Johnson is, we get told a lot of stuff about these types of players, like he's a really good attacking threat, for example. So against a team like Belarus, you can almost forego the defensive attributes, especially because Robertson was playing almost like as a left centre half tonight in a back three. So Johnson was so far up, but his delivery was really, really poor. His final ball was poor. His decision making, I thought, was poor at times, and his first touch as well. And I know he's had the defensive error to let that boy in for the shot at Gunn's near post. So all these reports and all these people I've been listening to, and look, everyone can have a bad game. I'm not saying that defines him as a Scotland player. He's never going to make it as a first team regular. But from what I saw across tonight's sort of hour and a bit, and then as a sub on Friday night, he's got a long way to go to be at the level we'd expect.
I just don't think he looks like a right back. He just doesn't look very competent defensively. And I know obviously you're saying about, poor deliveries and such like, but I think once your confidence is dented, once you've been beaten a few times, and you're not a terribly experienced player, then the things that you're maybe naturally quite good at, become pretty shit over a game that you feel massively under pressure, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about him, but I always thought he was a right winger. I didn't think he was I don't think he was a right back. But I could well be wrong. So yeah, maybe need to look into that. But
Yeah, that's all I've heard is that he's a right back or right wing back.
His best cross, funny enough, was when he hit it like first time on the volley, like the hardest one he hit.
Yeah, the
like,
hardest one to do.
When you had time to think about it, it was just rubbish. But it was like that was a really good cross. And that frustrates me as well when they cross because in the first half we were guilty of just doing that quite a lot, just aimlessly hitting crosses into the box. They were just being headed away, and when we did get a good cross, which is lovely. How can you not cross the ball like you're a professional footballer? Seriously, if you're just aim for a place and sort of hit it toward that. I don't know.
Probably a lot easier said than done, especially when you've got defenders running at you and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're veering into tonight's game, so I think we've more than covered that Friday night game away in Copenhagen, which put us on 1 point moving into tonight's match. A must win. It was absolutely a must win in Hungary for Scotland. You need to be picking up 6 points against the lowest seed in these groups, especially when there's only 4 teams. If you lose any points to these guys, you know fine well that Denmark and Greece are going to pick up 6 against them, and that scuppers your chances of winning the group. So, yeah, it was a must-win. The pressure was on, and I think the fans' expectations in terms of the scoreline were increased somewhat after our decent performance away in Denmark, but also seeing Belarus get scudded 5-1 away in Piraeus, is that how you pronounce the place in Athens? So tonight's game was never going to be anything too exciting to watch. It was just trying to get the job done, but get the job done he has. 2-0 to Scotland in the end, and 4 points in total for Scotland after those first 2 games. So, Matthew, your thoughts on tonight's match in a nutshell?
Yeah, got the job done. I mean, we played some nice stuff at times. It was a bit patchy. They were pretty pish. They offered a small threat. The attacking, the left back was decent. Obviously, they got the chance down the left when Johnson was sleeping. Other than that, we had a lot of the ball. We moved it slowly, maybe too slowly. We didn't get the ball into the spaces enough. But Tommy had a few moments where he could turn, and obviously Doak looked quite threatening on the left. I know you were saying you preferred him to be on the right if he's going to go to the byline. We got a couple of goals. We had a couple of nice bits of play. We could have got a third with Adams. And yeah, the guy should have been sent off for them. And that was it. It was quite easy. And it was weird being really quiet. It was really weird watching it. I heard like loads of shouting, and I was like, "Is that my neighbour shouting?" Or like, you hear them shouting. Who's that shouting?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah. I was like, "Who's shouting?"
I don't know why they didn't crank up the
fake fan noise,
stadium, fake noise like they did during COVID. That would have been good.
Get the cardboard cutouts out.
My dad can come back. Like he had one at the Rovers, back then.
Did he?
Yeah. And did I tell you that story? Like when obviously you got one of those fake cardboard cutouts, and we kitted them up, and it was like his Rovers kit, his Rovers scarf, and that. And then when COVID was finished, like they got to take it home, so he put like in the shed, and then my kids like take out when they go in the garden, they call it cardboard papa, so they just walk about with this like cardboard cutout of my dad.
That's so good.
So yeah, cardboard papa, big up. Should have been there tonight. Mate. He's in the Tartan Army as well, cardboard papa. Couldn't make out, he was gutted.
There was a couple of hundred fans made the trip out.
That, yeah.
Unbelievable.
There was some flags in the stadium. I saw that. I think they got like a tour yesterday of the stadium.
Yeah, I saw the news article about them. There's half a dozen of them got a wee tour into the ground.
Where was it? Like this place they were playing? It's
on the southwest coast of Hungary. It's like near the border of Austria and Slovenia and Croatia, I think. A couple 100 miles away from Budapest. But anyway, You're saying it was pretty much just business as usual, nothing really too much to read into.
I think if we wanted to, we could have upped it. Like, if we wanted to be a bit faster, because it was a bit slow. But it's one of those games where you're knackered from the other night, you know, and you don't really have to go full pelt because you know eventually you've got enough quality. And we did. The goals were good. The moves were good. I think if the big defender hadn't headed it in, McTominay was scored in the second one. And it was good to see Gilmore. He did that in the second half quite a bit, getting forward, which was also a good tactical move. He's quite good at getting in the box, like, for Scotland.
There's three surefire things in life. There's taxes, there's death, and there's Billy Gilmore getting the ball in the half turn and driving forward. He is the only man I've seen do that for us consistently. John McGinn, when he was deeper, used to. But it's class. He gets so many footballers across all levels now get the ball in that midfield with their back to goal and just play a bounce pass off or a sideways pass. He gets the ball in the half turn every time and moves forward. And yeah, like you say, he's been finding himself on the edge of the box, and he was obviously involved in that second goal as well, the OG. So yeah, Lewis Ferguson is the sort of player I would expect to have been doing that. I thought Gilmore would have been sitting deeper, but like you said, Andrew, he did the unsung hero role tonight of not getting his name in lights, but just never really missing a pass, making things tick. He was out towards the left with Doak and Robertson quite a lot, and
he covered well.
Just kept them ticking, I think.
Definitely, yeah. I thought Gilmore was brilliant. Obviously getting that shot off at the edge of the box. Keeper saves it. It comes off the post. He was just really positive. It's difficult to play that kind of game because it was so congested every time we went up. But the amount of, sort of tippy-tappy football we actually played at the edge of the box sometimes, to get through, was actually really impressive. Like, it was heavily congested. It was pretty much sort of 10 men behind the ball, for a lot of the game, never mind the first half. So I thought we were great. It's great to see Adams get on the score sheet, builds a bit of confidence there. John Suter, obviously, because I watch him week in, week out. I'm just really surprised on how he's coped with the amount of games he's played this season so far, and still been performing at an excellent level. He never really drops this level. Yeah, and he was throwing his body on the line again as he normally does, against Denmark. And he was equally as high energy and up for it tonight. So kept that back line organised. So yeah, I thought there was hardly any negatives. I would say, I didn't watch the game against Greece, but I would imagine that they would have taken a few more risks, obviously, particularly in the first half, to come away 4-0 at half time. They were playing it super safe tonight. They just wanted to get to half time and it be 0-0 and give themselves half a chance, to keep plugging away and then to actually get the reward that then drove us on. And maybe in the second half we could have been slightly more clinical, but I think that's hypercritical, if I'm really honest, because again, it was very much still sort of 9-10 men behind the ball a lot of the time. But for me, man of the match was Billy Gilmore. He was making it positive. He was making sure that the ball was always going forward. And I really would have thought you actually would have gotten the score sheet by the end of the game, just because of the positions he was kind of finding himself in. So he always seems to do that when he's been left out. He bounces back and reminds you sort of, how good a player he actually is. So it was good to see him do that tonight when we needed it, because this is a typical banana skin for us. I
was going to say, yeah.
It was good.
It's so easy to forget about 15, 20, 25 years ago, well, basically since the last World Cup. You've got this type of team in a group away from home, and it ends up a draw or a 1-0 defeat, something like that. And it's so easy to sit here and see a 2-0 win and just be like, okay, it was a bit dull, it was boring, we should have beat them by more, and all these types of things, because you've come to expect that with Clarke and expect a win to be the norm in these games. He's only dropped points in qualifiers against teams ranked lower than him twice across Euro and World Cup qualifiers, against Israel in a 1-1 draw, and the other team escapes me. Georgia, 2-2. Yeah.
The Georgia
So yeah,
one,
it's easy
fair
to
enough,
sit here
but
and
Israel, I don't think was as much of a banana skin, really. I think prior to that, it would have been maybe that Kazakhstan result under McLeish, maybe, was it?
under McLeish, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would be on par with if we slipped up against Belarus, I think. But yeah, no, job done.
Just
Very professional.
nowhere near those results anymore. There was a slight feeling of, will it happen tonight, when you get close to half time and you've not really threatened too much. It's not like the keeper's made save after save. We had 80% possession at that point. They'd only had one real breakaway chance. But you do start to question, will it come good for us? That goal before halftime changes the game massively, and that's why the second half we could produce more chances because the game was more open. But the only thing I was concerned about tonight was just the sort of concentration levels and performance levels of both wing-backs. I'm never really a critic of Andy Robertson. I thought against Denmark he was very, very good. But tonight, a few mistakes, a few lax passes back to Gunn, the ball over his head a couple of times and a player's got in behind him. He's recovered okay, and then at the other side, we've already spoken about Johnson, I'm not going to say it again, but I did feel that the concentration levels between the back four, but especially the wing-backs, wasn't there tonight. And it's excusable because it's, Robertson almost never has these games, and it's against Belarus, and we've got the job done. But that was the only thing that was, for me, a concern.
I think the manager could have probably helped him out a wee bit, though. Maybe this should be the type of game that you could maybe bring on a Doig a wee bit earlier. This is the type of game that, to be honest, I did genuinely think he would have maybe allowed Bowie, Lennon, these boys, a little bit of a run out tonight. But he didn't. So if I was being super critical, I would say that maybe that could have been done, because it would have just added a little bit more sort of fresh energy. They would have been so focused on trying to make a name for themselves, and it doesn't really matter if we put that third away or not, but I think it would have probably prevented a few sort of concentration mistakes. But yeah, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. At the end of the day, we got the job done. But yeah, I think Robertson, with maybe not getting as much game time this season, might be capable of that in a Scotland shirt, where he does lose focus a wee bit. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, indeed. Next up for Scotland it's in a 1 month and a day's time, I believe. It's the 9th of October, a home game against Greece. And then after that, we have Belarus at Hampden as well on the Sunday. Now, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but for example, if we were to beat Greece on that Thursday and then beat Belarus, that would put us 10 points out of 12 after 4 games. And if you assume that Denmark can get the job done against Belarus and repeat the feat, they've obviously won convincingly tonight away in Greece. If they can do the same, there'd be 2 teams on 10 points, and the next team would be on 3, which would be Greece. Now, at that stage, we are guaranteed second. Could you believe that after 4 games of 6, we might be guaranteed second place?
You need to calm down, mate. You need to calm.
Yeah, I do.
Did you remember when Greece came to Hampden last time, mate? You need to take a chill.
I know. I've been looking at all the permutations today. Like, what if they draw this game and then we win this game? I need to really rein myself in.
Would you take a draw against Greece at home? Or is it a must-win game? You have to win all your home games, in your opinion.
I think so, especially considering the last 2 games are away in Greece and at home to Denmark. It's not a must-win, because technically you can still finish second without winning that game. Yeah. Obviously, but it's a must-not-lose for a chance of getting second or progressing, I think.
They'll be
if you're in that team, you're surely playing that Greece game like a derby. You know what I mean? Like you want, if there's one game in that group that you're right up for, it's Greece. Whether it's home or away, it doesn't matter. Like you've
you want haggis.
You've got the players have to be up for that. There's history there.
They came and embarrassed us on our home patch. That's not going to happen again.
But look, we've got a really good team. We've got a really good team, and if we play our cards right that day, and we don't get really unlucky with injuries with critical players, etc., we should have an excellent chance of getting a good result, against Greece. And as I said, from a mentality perspective, that should be the one game that squad's really geared up to get a statement result out of.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mean a 6-0 or anything like that, but a good win. That really then, the crowd are feeling.
6-0?
No, I'm saying not necessarily that. I'm just saying.
Jesus, peeps.
But a good win that creates a good atmosphere, and it then gets the crowd right behind them in the rest of the qualifiers. I think that could be Scotland's catalyst, I think, to qualifying if we get that game right.
Mate, you're getting me excited here. I'm feeling
yeah.
Andrew's so positive. I'm feeling positive. We're all feeling good. That means one thing: it's going to be crushing defeat.
It's going to be awful. The old adage, though, isn't it? It's like, if you think about the Greece game, you're thinking this is the most important game in the group, but then the game after that is the most important game, and the game before today's game, they're all in a six game group. Every game is massive.
On paper they are, but in your heart, that's got to be the biggest game. It's Greece, Hampden. You want to absolutely lift the roof off the place. You just want to, unbelievable atmosphere. There's a bit of history there. That is the big game. Like, that's the derby atmosphere that you want out of this group. Obviously, if it goes down to the wire later on, with Denmark and all that, fair enough. But that's the one that I think you want to ignite. The fans get really behind the team and get a result. Like, that would be a game changer. How much would that change the mentality of those that are maybe on a bit of a sugary peg? Maybe the concentration's not quite there. Maybe the motivation's not 100%. That would then just take it to a new level, or should do. So I'm excited for that. That's the game of the group. That
helps going into those games having gained 4 points from the first two, putting a good display against Denmark. Yeah. The fans will be, if they weren't before, they'll be right up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
they will. Just as all our listeners are right up for the return of Home or Away, our weekly quiz. We're all excited for Scotland, but I think we're all more excited for this quiz.
In a world where sponsorship is more accessible than ever, that world exists at sportsponsorship.co.uk. Whether you're interested in making a difference to your local community or further afield, or perhaps you're looking for access to tens of thousands of followers online to push your brand further than ever, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk. That's sportsponsorship.co.uk.
If I can find my little document that's got the scores. The points, the scores, on the doors are 34 to Andrew and 28 to Matthew.
Comeback's on.
6 point gap, and it's Matt to go first on this one.
Away, please.
He's going away again.
What a
guy. Worth 6 points if you guess it after one clue. I'm going to introduce a shot clock here. Well, roughly 30 seconds per clue if we can.
Christ, okay.
Estonian forward with 102 caps and 23 goals.
Estonian. 120 caps, did you say?
102 caps, 23 goals.
102 caps. 23 goals.
Yeah, that's a lot of caps. Estonian. Next one, please, mate.
Next clue. This player won the Hong Kong Premier League in the 23-24 season. Should indicate he's winding down.
And the clue continues, does it?
No. It's an away.
Yeah, but that's a ridiculous clue.
How?
The Hong Kong. Shoot, isn't the second clue?
You might have read something about this on X.
Don't have X anymore, mate. I've cancelled that shit. I kept getting reform videos and stuff like that. I don't want to see that.
That's because you're cookies.
I don't want to see fucking Lee Anderson and Big Farage.
Because you Google Farage airplane crash memes 8 times a day.
Instagram at the moment, it's just like folk getting maimed by bulls and those bull running things. It's class. I'm just getting video after video.
It's class.
Oh yeah, these bulls they run about free in the fields, Sorry, I'm
All right, Russell Martin. Easy.
what's
Tiger.
that word called where you talk a lot in like court or some shit to like stop like a lawyer?
Oh yeah. Just get on with it. Do you want a third clue or do you want to take a guess?
Yeah, lots of bill videos and that. Free the bills. Can I have another clue?
Last clue. This player has 85 appearances and 15 goals with 4 different Scottish clubs.
85 appearances, how many goals?
I'm gonna go Henry Arnier.
You could have just got that on the first one and got 6 points, but you've got it at the end, and it's 2 points to Matthew. Well done, sir.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Henry
Well done.
Anier.
I know
Name the 4 clubs.
Dundee United, Motherwell, Ross County, and St Mirren. No,
Inverness, Cali were in there,
I didn't. I thought
and Hibs were the other one. He never played for County.
I had him in my head, but I didn't think he'd played that much games for Estonia. I didn't think he was that good. Like, I didn't
Mate,
really know what. He's their best
He is
player.
their Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, I remember him as being
Well-
absolutely shite
well
in
done.
Scotland. Like, I don't remember him doing much.
I
It
didn't
was
actually
wash.
have anyone down for that at all. I couldn't think of anyone
The
Estonian.
second
So.
clue didn't fucking help. That's bullshit. Like, the Hong
Yeah, the
Kong.
whole
Because I thought
Kong
the-
thing, no
I thought
idea.
the first clue was too easy. If you knew
I
it, you
know.
would got. Anyway, you got 2 points, and that brings you up to 30 in total. Well done.
Filibustering, that's the word I was looking for earlier.
34,
Filibustering,
30,
yeah, you were.
34,
As opposed to
30.
Billy Fusting.
I'm
Andrew?
not brave enough yet.
Home again, my friend.
Home or away? Oh, he's gone home. An English. This is going to sound like an away clue. An English midfielder with 1 cap.
Fuck off.
That's shocking stuff.
For a
He's
home
screwed.
quite, like,
He's done it.
English midfielder.
He screwed him
I'm good.
again on the.
I'm
What do you
gonna
mean
have
screwed
to,
him?
Surely
I'm
my
gonna have to
home.
go.
Surely my clue is
uh,
easier if you're going by your logic earlier on.
Yeah, that's horseshit. That, like, fuck me. Right, okay, fine. I'll go to the next clue. Obviously,
This
One
player has
fucking
won a
chance of winning
domestic treble in Scotland.
okay.
I think I know it. No, can't be him.
There's the reason I didn't give you more info on the first one is because there's like a list of famous English footballers with 1 cap that gets spoken about fairly frequently, and I think there's only 1, maybe 2 players on that list that have played in Scotland in our lifetime, which is why I felt like it was good enough for a home clue, especially
Okay.
considering the caliber of the man.
He is
I
leading
really
the quiz.
wish that
This guy should
I
know.
really wish that had heard that list before.
It's a Scottish football podcast, mate. He's not reading about English 1 cap wonders, is he?
1 cap.
He's reading about Scottish 1 cap wonders. Name one, Tom.
Struggling to even get a fucking list. 1 cap that's brutal, and he's won a treble, right? So I mean, probably a Celtic player, midfielder.
Gonna have to call time.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
think.
fine, go for it. Yeah,
Do the
Go for it.
referees thing.
And finally, third clue is this player is originally from Newcastle and has 16 appearances for the Magpies at the start of his career. That's where he started out.
Newcastle.
Newcastle, and he started.
It's a really testing home question, I'll give you that. It's really, really
Yeah,
challenging.
thanks for that. Fucking obviously not right.
As Gary Neville says, you win some, you lose some, you draw some.
Do you have like a lot of them like in advance and you randomly pick one, or do you have like 1 per episode?
I'm not telling you my methods.
Okay.
You might hack into my secret source.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
He's a Geordie. For those of you listening, that
Midfielder.
was Paul Gascoigne.
Fuck on the time is all mine, all mine. Fuck on the time is all mine.
Me mate Mori. Oh, you can't talk about that stuff.
Okay.
Taking a stab, sir. A punt and a grunt.
I think. No, he wasn't even fucking. I think I'm going to have to go for a Celtic player, so I can't think of any Rangers players that were Geordie and. Actually, to be honest, I
Gaza?
can't think.
Gaza was Geordie.
Yeah, but he obviously didn't have 1 cap because he was fucking incredible.
He might have done, mate.
When was the last Rangers team win the
Take a guess.
treble? Was it like 98 or something like that? Or 2005?
At least did it, did they not?
They've never won the treble because they are a new club now. So,
Didn't they win the Challenge Cup, the league, and no, they lost the Scottish Cup final that season. Could have won the treble then. If that counts. Challenge Cup, no.
Right, come on, son.
Treble. I don't know.
Get it punted. Only grunted. Spruggy's ready to lap up the point here.
Well, hats off to him because I couldn't even get it. Like, I can't even. That's a fucking hard home question. That.
Oh,
That's really
it's a
difficult.
shame.
Nah,
You passing?
not got it.
Nothing.
Yeah, passing it. Yeah.
Matthew, over to you for a point to steal.
Is it Alan Thompson?
It's Alan Thompson. It's remarkable.
Fuck's sake.
And
He's coming back. Come on. After weeks
that
of
reduces
shame
the
and
gap
embarrassment.
to 3. It's
Come on.
34-31.
It's fucking rigged.
He wants me to get back in it to make it exciting, eh?
Hey,
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I just
Oh,
play
that's
the
what
cards
Tom's
as
doing,
they're
yeah.
dealt.
He's just pretending, Andrew.
yeah.
He knows, he really knows. He wants to make it exciting for our listeners, you know.
Sure.
Oh,
sure,
Andrew's
sure.
pretending. Sorry, I thought you meant I was rigging it in your favour.
Oh no, yeah, you're
rigging it as well,
that's,
mate.
That's for sure.
Double
Hey,
right.
allegation central over here. Oh, and
Unbelievable.
just as the clock strikes 50 at 22:26 on Monday the 8th September, it's time to announce the death of this episode.
You're the clock man. The time sponsored by Nooches.
Accurist is.
And
But on a serious note, Ruddy, thank you for listening as always. We appreciate it. Be back again on Friday for Tinpot on Tour. Be sure to keep your bell notification thing on to let you know when a new episode is dropped. You give us a like on all these Spotify platforms, all that jazz. It really helps us. That'd be much appreciated. Drop us a comment, a DM, an email. You've got all the details. I'm sure you do. Until then, live well and prosper.
Bye.